Hello YouTubers, welcome back to my channel. This week we're going to be doing updating records, collection records from a database. In my prior videos, parts 1 and parts 2, we started by a new record, and then we did the second one was find a record. The third thing we're going to be doing this week is going to be update existing record in the collection. So as I explained last week in my prior videos, I've put all the different CRUD operations in functions so that we can call them as we need them. Like the first part 1 was to insert a new record. The second one was to find a record. This week, in this iteration would be to update a record. So I put a comment on this so we don't accidentally call. This. So this would be update record. Update record be more suitable. So MongoDB function to update collection document in database. So first things first, we connect to the database. So it would be Mongo client.connect, and if I remember correctly, it's going to be connecting to, I just have to do this every time, connect would be YouTube URL, that's it. It's already declared, so it'd be YouTube URL, and it's we have to pass it through a new user URL parser, and we do error checking. So it's a callback error client. So I use the E6 syntax. So we just do set a variable here, assign DB, which we're going to be using, assign DB, I'll just say assign variable. So it'd be let DB equals client dot DB, and it's going to be the database, which is YouTube. So that's the database. So I'll just move this aside. So the database is YouTube. What's it called? YouTube, that's it. YouTube. If you look at the URL, let's go back to there we go. YouTube. So that's what we're connecting to. YouTube. Okay. So each time we reference a DB, we'll be making reference to the YouTube database. Okay, so let's check for errors. If error, we'll say we'll just console log it. Console log .log. I could just say error. So it will just throw that error out. Else console.log connected to the database. Yeah, that should do fine. And I like to declare a query, a variable for the query, so I don't have to actually enter it all the time. So it will be let's call it db query equals, and then it's an object, so it would be I think, yeah, so it'd be ID, new object ID, then you put it, so it'd be, it's kind of a weird one, so new object ID, and then you enter the object ID, and then you close the curly braces. Oops, have we done? Oh, sorry. There we go. That's how we do it. That will be the. So that will be the parameters you enter when you do. So we're now going to be doing just to make the process easier. Just go db.collection from bracket, and it's called my employee. Let's go back into T3. It's called my collection. So it's my collection. And it gives you find an update, and then we just put in the DB query. You could type it all out if you didn't want to use the DB query, so just use a DB query, which is all in there. And another when you're updating a record, you have to use a set function or method there. So it would be let's call it db name, db name update. Let's call it like that. Then I would say equals, and then we set it to open there. Then you use a function called $set, and then we colon that, and then we open up our name. And then what we can do, in this case, I'm not going to use RL sync to actually take an input from the keyboard, so I'm just going to put a name in there. So I'm just going to put, say, Joe blogs. Oh no, let's say Joe Frank. So that would do. So Joe blog. So it would be Joe Frank's. Because in the previous illustrations, I took a keyboard and I inserted this RL question, so it takes it from the keyboard, which I could do. Let's just do that. Let's do that. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so update record. So if we do this, okay. Let's in name update equals RL sync dot question, and then we say enter new name. So this would be the name that it would update to, and so whatever we enter here would be what would be used to replace whatever the object ID is, which when we do a query to find update name. So this would now be, instead of Joe Frank's, instead of Joe Franks, I'm just going to do in name update, and then we use that, pass that, copy that, and we use that here. Oops. I'll just type that in there. DB name update. Error and result. I'll document it, whatever we use, a doc. If error console.log error encountered, and then else, yeah, console.log doc, I think we'll do it, console.log doc, yeah, that should do it, console.log doc, okay, so you can see what we've just done, taken an input from the key from the terminal, and that's our URL, that's database to connect to, and then it's part of the, and then we do an error to check connection to the database. So we'll get this as our first output on the terminal, and then this is our declaration for object IDs. This is going to be our search parameter, and then we've set our name, the record, or the field to change. So DB name updates set name, and then this is what we've input from the keyboard terminal, and this is the syntax for updating. So updating collection, my collection, which we have here, which is the name, my collection, and then updates, and it's called find one update. So we use the first parameter is the DB query, which is the object ID, and then that's the fields update, and then it's our error checking. Hopefully that should just all work. So we test this, save this, and then we do what we're calling now. Let me just put this in the right place. Cut, Control V, and then what's it called? Update record. Okay, save that. It's the CRUD operation. So copy that, and we've got the node. Control V. The name is going to be, we change it to, so if we look up this, the name is currently Joe Blogs, we're going to call it Joe Franks. So let's see if that works. Joe Franks. Oops. New user URL parser not found, not defined. Let's go back in there. Should be new user So that's because we've not set that to true. Save that again. Clear our field. Clear. Try that again. Joe Franks. Let's see. Where have we gone wrong again? Go to the database. True, false. Use parser. Let's see. I know where I've gone wrong, not to put in the object ID. So, so we're going to have to request the object ID. So we've got the name. The name is that. So we're going to enter object ID, copy that. So let's put this on top. Let's copy that. So that will be the first thing we will request. Oh, okay, let me just change that. New in obj ID. So this would be our thing, enter object ID. So in here, so we're going to do, we're going to pass this object ID would be in object ID. In object ID, and then we pass that. We still use the same DB query. That's okay. ID, clear that. Let's get our object ID from here. So if we let's go. Edit document. So we take that, copy that, cancel. So, oops, clear the screen, object ID, paste that, take that thing out there, the name Joe Franks, DB query. Maybe the syntax I've put in here is object find one. This is taken. There we go. I knew the syntax thing. It's an underscore. Field name is underscore. Save. Let's try that. Third time lucky, as they say. Clear. Right. Let's go again. Enter name. Oh, wrong one. Don't want to do that. Don't want to find record. Save that. Object ID. Joe Franks. There we go. Update true. So that's the name. Joe blog. This is what we changed. 8:45. I bring up my. If I do a refresh on my YouTube, close that, and then double click on my collection, and we should have Joe Franks. There we go. Alright, if you like this video, just click on the thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye bye.